What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another transfer show here on 100% Chelsea. Are we live? We're good? Cool. Welcome back. Good to see you all. I know there's been a lack of content over the past couple of days because there's not been a lot to talk about. And to be honest, I thought it'd be nice to go live and have a decent little conversation with you guys. It's a Sunday night. Everyone's going back to work tomorrow. And I thought, why not just have a little conversation again, as we normally do? This could be a traditional thing on a Sunday. If you want that, okay, drop it in the live feed, and then when the comment section is born, put it in the comment section. Say, you know, I quite like doing this with you guys. But yeah, right. Let's get straight into it. So, mute my laptop so no sounds come out of it like it does sometimes. Let's get me notes up and let's have an enjoyable little conversation. Now, I need to see myself while I'm doing this. Here we go. Right. Let's talk about Daniele Rugani, because he is the title of this piece. Now, according to Gazzetta dello Sport, Chelsea have had a little conversation with Juventus regarding Daniele Rugani, and we want to sign him, apparently. And on top of that, we've had a 30 million bid rejected by Juventus for Daniele Rugani. Stream lagging. Sorry. Let us know if it is. If it is, there's not really a lot I can do about that because it shouldn't be, because this is some very, 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 very good Wi-Fi. Yeah. But yeah. So he's 23. For those of you who don't know, but he's apparently struggled to establish himself in the Juve team this year. 22 games in the Serie A this season. But that's alone. 2 in the Champions League. I wouldn't say 22 is struggling to get into the team, if I'm honest. That's over 2/3 of the games. But other than that, yeah, he signed from Empoli in 2015. So I believe that's when Maurizio Sarri was there. So this is potentially why that we're interested in. Apparently he really wants to move. And according to Gazzetta dello Sport, we made our first official approach. And apparently we were not turned down. This screams a bit like the Romagnoli situation from the previous transfer window last summer. Obviously, we were all the summer before when we were very interested in signing Romagnoli, and it was a bit of a interesting move for me. I thought he's okay, but he's proven not to be that great. But Rugani seems to be like the second coming of Buffon. This is a player who's, for me, I enjoy watching him. I think that he's a very, very good player. And I think he could add to the team. I think, however, this does mean probably the likelihood is, well, Cale's running down to his last stages of his contract. And then obviously Luiz is probably set to move away. So this is potentially why he's coming in. And now, you know, he could come in. He's a long-term stay. He's very solid. You know, 23 years old and be able to start 22 games for Juventus says a lot. I understand what people will say about Juve and the fact that it could be, you know, it's a farmers' league and all those kind of quotations. But for me, I like him as a defender. He's playing for Italy as well now. He's a regular start. Obviously, Bonucci and Chiellini are starting to be on their way out, and Rugani and Romagnoli are starting to move into the side. And obviously, he's a very decent player. But yeah, I mean, I think this would be a great signing. But it could be also mean, well, Kale and Luiz are definitely going. What does it mean exactly for Kurt Zouma, which is what I've seen Haynes Bernhansen say in the chat? Look, I think Kurt Zouma's okay now, but I think his Chelsea career is done. His ACL's completely screwed him. Where he used to, you know, where he used to be so influential and so good because of his pace, he doesn't have that anymore, and he just seems to have the turning circle of a tank now. So I think he'd have to adjust his game. I think he'd be a good player to have in and around Chelsea, but I don't think that he is going to be a starter, shall I say? I don't think he's that physically adept in comparison to what he used to be. He's still a decent centre half. He was important for Stoke this season when at the beginning of the season. As the season went on, apparently he just wasn't cutting the mustard, which isn't exactly great. But I think Rugani and Christensen could be a fantastic partnership for the future. 21, 22 and 23, you know, that is 10 years minimum. One thing for me, though, is, you know, I think that we could have kept hold of Nathan Ake. He's got a 20 million buyout clause. I don't understand why we don't go back in for him. I think he'd fit the system very well, Sarri. Sarri likes quick, physical and decent centre halves. And to be honest, Ake is a decent centre half, and he has the full capacity to do well. And he did it for us at Chelsea when he showed it. What he's capable of. He was brought back from loan. You know, I think that he could be interesting to see what happened. But I mean, look, if Juventus asking for 40, 50 million, I'd consider it. I'd consider going back in for Ake. But I mean, Kurt Zouma. I know people are slightly shocked what I'm saying about him being finished. I just can't see him being a mainstay in the side, and he's going to want regular football because he's young, which is why I think he may be on the way out. But yeah, I've seen people talking about Loftus-Cheek, Alisson, Sarri. We're going to get into all of that today. I've got a few stories lined up for you, so don't worry about that. We're going to carry on talking about this stuff. We'll go through some comments. We're going to talk about England as well today because obviously 6-1 against Panama, and everyone's saying it's coming home. It might be. But yeah, let's have a look. Galactus Pro. Nothing's going to happen as long as Chelsea, as long as Marina is in charge. She wasted a month of transfer window, and I wish Ryman would learn by now to sack her. I agree. I don't think Marina has a bone in her body about the understanding of football. But she's not going to go anywhere. Mainly because she's as close as you can get to Roman Abramovich without being married. So yeah. Please do this every Sunday. Okay, then. When we're going to make it a regular thing, we'll have a chat with Lawrence. So if Lawrence is doing it, you know, who's going to, you know, me and Lawrence can do it. You know what? We'll switch it around. Obviously, it'll be me one week, then him the next week. What else we got? Who will Chelsea get? I don't know. I'm not on ITK. Any news about Sarri? Get onto that in a minute. Chelsea should get Neymar. Jesus Christ. It's like I repeat myself every single week. I'm just going to leave that here. Right. They'll sell him if Chelsea comes back with a 40 million offer. Yeah, we won't. We'll come back with 32 million and a Twix. We're not going to pay 40 million because we're tight fucking arseholes. We'll be like last summer transfer window. You have Marina wasting a month of the window. Sign cheap Audi players like Drinkwater and ruin our season. Sad times. I don't think that's going to happen somehow. I think, look, the thing with Chelsea is we have a tendency to realise that we've fucked up and we start to move again. I understand why people are panicking, but I was having a conversation with someone yesterday and he made a very good point and I really thought about it. All the agents are at the World Cup, and I understand why people say, why are you saying that? We've got deals done for Costa and Fabregas during the World Cup in Brazil. But we're not as ruthless as we were, and I think there's obviously a different situation. Like we keep saying, the political factors with Roman Abramovich, economic tension, all that kind of stuff. You know, it's a different scenario. So I think we're going to be in a lot more careful. I think also we have to remember that in 2014 we had Mourinho and he knew what he wanted, and he wanted to bring in Fabregas and he wanted to bring in Costa so he could have what he needed, and we had stability in terms of who our manager was, surprisingly. So I think that's a slightly different scenario. Now we still don't know what's going on. They're not going to back Conte. He's clearly on the way out. But Sarri could be coming in tomorrow. And this is, again, our next bit of news, which is, let me get it up, this one. So Maurizio Sarri is expected to finalise his move on Monday. This according to Il Mattino, which is a decent newspaper. The former Napoli boss will fly on Monday to finalise terms. An official announcement isn't expected until later in the week. But Chelsea do look to be getting their man. Apparently, at last. Apparently, we'd hoped to strike a deal early this summer, obviously, but they refused and stood firm over negotiations. We all know this, just recapping it and reading the story that's in front of me. Reports say that €5 million of compensation has been agreed, and Chelsea is still hoping to avoid a significant payout for Antonio Conte, who is determined not to break his own contract. Everyone knows that. Conte's compensation will be expensive, and it appears that he has scuppered the deal for Sarri. And we're looking for cheaper overtones such as Laurent Blanc, which isn't true. Laurent Blanc was just a smokescreen by the sound of things. Odd. Wow. Okay. I didn't receive this bit. Apparently, Sarri could be looking to move into Cobham. So I think that'd be slightly interesting. He's moving to Surrey. Surrey's a very nice area. So you know he'll be all right. And there's a little it's a little like a. So when you come out of the training grounds, obviously I've been there a couple of times. you go in and by the train, there's like by obviously Cobham is if you there's like the train station, and it's like a 20-minute walk round to where you need to go. But it's a little village, so you've got loads of bits and bobs, and he is very. Well, I think he'll be all right. If he needs to get into London, you just get someone to drive him there. He'll have the money. But yeah, I mean, right. So basically, apparently the deal for Sarri is set to be finalised tomorrow. Again, we're going to talk about that very briefly because it's all we've mentioned for the past few weeks is that Sarri's comes to Chelsea. Sarri comes to Chelsea. Sarri comes to Chelsea. It's going to happen Wednesday. It's going to happen on Thursday. It's going to happen on Friday. It's going to happen here. It's going to happen then. Blah, 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 blah. Cut it off there. Finish it. Okay. When he is holding up a Chelsea shirt and it is on the Chelsea website, BBC, Sky Sport, we'll be telling you when it happens. And we're the first to do it because that's how good we are. And we love you guys and we're going to be on it. But until then, yeah, that's it. Yeah, everyone knows how we feel about Sarri. That's about it. I'm going to block this guy because he's being an idiot. Pursues on timeout. Get lost, Sane. We don't want people to be talking. We need to be realistic. But yeah, it's pretty much done. So that is that, basically. That's all we're going to talk about Sarri. What else have we got going for you guys? So we butchers. That's about it. One story I don't want to talk about, and it's not... Oh, hold on. Here we go. Oh, literally news that's come up 5 minutes ago on the Telegraph. This is breaking as we look at it now. If it will load. Apparently, Thibaut Courtois says, I do not want to go back to England if Belgium lose the World Cup G Group decider. Don't come to the World Cup if you want to see fighter team score 5, said Didier Deschamps following sponsor. Too laboured win. Yeah, okay. I don't care. Carry on. I want to see what Courtois had to say. Obviously, this is literally came out 5 minutes ago. So we're going to have a little look at what he said. Belgium are now unbeaten in 21 games, and it's their greatest danger. Just what rest if they lose momentum? Oh God, please don't be one of those. Okay, what? Okay, right. You know what? I'm going to read this, and I'm going to add it to the news tomorrow. I'm going to send it to Lawrence, and Lawrence can cover it. But yeah, that's it. To be honest, the story I wanted to cover was Nainggolan's going to Inter, and I don't understand why we didn't go in for him. And he's going on a very, very, very cheap deal, which is a load of bollocks because I would quite like to have him. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously been talk about Koulibaly as well, Callejon, Mertens. I think one thing we need to realise is we're not going to be signing any Inter Milan players while we sign Maurizio Sarri because De Laurentiis already stood firm on this deal. I sincerely doubt that we're going to be signing any Napoli players as well. We basically got that squad. But yeah, next thing to talk about is the World Cup. Right, if you're English, you know what's going on. But, you know, if you're watching the World Cup, you watch the World Cup. Everyone knows what we're talking about. We have some news in terms of England winning 6-1 today and the fact that it's definitely maybe coming home. But it's probably not, to be honest, because this is England. But obviously, Loftus-Cheek came into the side today ahead of Dele Alli, who was injured. And I'm going to level with you. He had an okay game. He wasn't superb, but he fitted into the side very, very well. I think that he was gliding and moving the ball superbly, and you can just tell that he's a very, very good player. We kind of played him out wide almost as part of a 3. So we played 5-3-2, and then you kind of had Sterling in behind Harry Kane, and Loftus-Cheek kind of glided out to the right-hand side to Trippier. He was cutting in. Now it seems that he is probably where he's going to play. He played out wide for Crystal Palace as well. It was like one of those dynamic central midfielder type things, and I think that could be potentially where he plays for us. I think that's what fits and makes more sense. He played wide on 4-4-2 for Palace, wide on a 3-5-2 for England, or 5-3-2, sorry. But yeah, I mean, he's been decent. He's got to come back to Chelsea. But what worries me is, as fans, we're looking at it in terms of footballing prowess, going, right, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, he's ready for Chelsea, he can come into the side, he can perform at the highest level, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I completely agree. We don't need to talk about that. What worries me, though, is that I worry that Chelsea are going to look at that and go, Real Loftus-Cheek's played very well. Oh, he's played at a World Cup as well. Oh, he's part of the England squad, is he? Yeah. Crystal Palace offer us 40 million quid for him because they really want him. And they go, you know what, let's have that as part of our loanee scheme, make a bit of money there, which is what I really, really, really worry is going to happen. Look, obviously we've got our qualms with how the board do stuff, and this is one of the big things that worry me the most, because I don't want this to be one of those scenarios, because Loftus-Cheek has the capability to be part of that squad. And I understand why people are saying sell Bakayoko, sell Drinkwater, and we get money for it. But for me, you know, the biggest problem we had last year was a severe lack of squad depth. If we keep Loftus-Cheek, maybe sign another central midfielder to almost pair him up with, put player next to N'Golo Kante. If Sarri comes, we're playing 4-3-3. That is the scenario. And I'm saying if, because the paper's not signed yet. It's 80% done by the looks of things, but it's a big if. You play the team. We've got some signings that we need to make, and we need to kind of move quickly to get that done. Loftus-Cheek is a starter. I completely understand where he's coming from when he says, I need to start. I completely agree. He does need to start. I don't know if he's a number 10, but he'd fit as part of the midfield three. This guy here, Galactus Pro, saying he'd love Jorginho. Him and Jorginho are pretty much exactly the same player. Loftus-Cheek needs to come back to Chelsea. He has the capacity now to come up and then go, right, I'm a starter for England. Okay, I started for England. I played at a World Cup. I should be in this squad. And he's too right, because we've got Barkley, Drinkwater as two English centre-backs, central midfielders in our squad who didn't go to the World Cup. I don't just want a player which is going to sit on our bench and rot. Fuck that. I don't just want an English squad player I want to see an English player start at Chelsea. I want to see a spine built which will see us do really, really, really well. And I think we have the capacity to do that. Yes, there are a lot of players that we can sell at Chelsea this summer. There's a lot of dead wood. However, we need to analyse our squad properly. We need to see what Sarri wants. And the most important thing is that Sarri is backed in the transfer window. And I think there are players that could definitely walk into the squad. Someone else has said Van Ginkel could be part of the squad. I completely agree. That's another homegrown player who could be part of the quota. You've got Van Ginkel, Loftus-Cheek. You've got Hudson-Odoi should be starting under. I personally, for me, I just want to see us take a risk. Mason Mount, I'm not sure about yet, Josh. I think that Mason Mount could come into the squad at a later point, but I think he just needs 1 year at a Premier League club. That's what I want to see. I want to see him have that 1 year where he can develop and, come and do well. But he's nearly there. He's been training with the England squad, so obviously he's a very well-rounded and well-liked player. I think I'd like to see Van Ginkel. Someone exactly. Nitesh has just said the guy. What I'd like to see is my midfield: Marco, Van Ginkel, Kante, and Loftus-Cheek. If Van Ginkel doesn't cut it, that's fine. We can offload. He's one of those players which he didn't quite get there. It was Stoke and stuff, but that's maybe because he didn't really get the opportunity. I'd like to see him given the opportunity, and then we can offload him if he doesn't work. I think being in the Europa League as well, it's going to show up. It's going to give us a bit more wiggle room in terms of what players we can use. I want to see what the group is. If it's a tough group, then we can go, okay, let's focus on that and move on. If it's a better group for us, I'd like to see players like Hudson-Odoi given an opportunity. I'd like to see players like Loftus-Cheek definitely started, not only in the Europa League, but in the Premier League. And I'd like to see Van Ginkel. There are so many players at Chelsea which we could see given opportunities. Reece James, if I'm honest, I think he's good, but I don't know. Maybe Ampadu has been in and around the squad this year. Maybe once he's all fixed up, he'll be good to go. But Sarri doesn't really do rotation, and I don't know if it will happen. Lewis Baker, I'm not sure about either. I don't think that he's quite ready to come into the squad. But yeah, I think that we've got a lot of stuff that could be going on here. What other news have we got? See if there's anything else that's come up underneath here. Because I scrolled back a few hours and I couldn't really see anything. But yeah, I mean, in terms of youth players, it's going to work out really well. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I think now is the time. If we're not going to be signing players, that he's going to have to use youth players. And I think Abramovich has invested a lot of money into the youth at Chelsea. I understand why people are getting annoyed because obviously we sell players and we don't use the youth, and now we've had an issue. But this crop, I think it takes about 10 years to build that proper. You have that squad or that youth squad, first one who's going to come through and really do well. And I really feel that this is the time now. Pasalac is another good player as well, but apparently he's very close to the move to Fiorentina. But I think this is the time where you look at players and you sort of go, right, this is the right move for us. I think that Loftus-Cheek could be good. I really, really think we should reactivate Ake's buyback clause if we don't get Rugani, because obviously he understands the club as well. And you could build a spine where you could have Ake, Loftus-Cheek, you could have Van Hinkel, you could have Pasalic, you could have Callas could be part of the squad as well. I think he's got the capability to do well. I don't know about Masunda. I think he needs a bit more time to develop, and I also think he needs to grow up a bit. He needs to go somewhere where he will grow up, because his antics in terms of his Instagram and all that shit pissed me off, and it pissed everyone off. Whereas that it felt really petulant because he was unfollowing people at Chelsea, and then when he went to Celtic, and then when he came back, he's now re-following people again. I don't understand. There's so many players like he got to come back in. We shouldn't have sold Chalobah, because Chalobah would have been starting the season. Chalobah, Loftus-Cheek and Kante would have been an absolutely mesmerising midfield. I'd love that. Kennedy is another player. I think Lucas Piazon needs to go. Get Mikel back. Yeah, definitely. I personally don't think that there is a full... sorry, hold on. I want to see it. I want to see if there's a proper development, and I really think that this is the opportunity. I really do. Because we're not going to spend the money, then we could sort of push it through and go. But let's. I think that's pretty much all the news. So we're just going to have a look through some of your comments, which I haven't read. I'm excited. We've read that one. Christensen and Luiz are two of the best ball-playing centre-halves in Europe. I agree. I think. Look, that's another player. Christensen's already in the squad. I genuinely, look, for me, if I was Chelsea and I really, really thought about it, I would look at it and have a plan. And I go, look, we're not going to spend the money this summer. And that's fine. If we don't spend the money, I'm cool with that. I think everyone's cool with that. But you need to see some implementation where long-term investments are being pushed through, i.e. the youth. I think that's when everyone will be fully fine with it. Right now, including myself, no one is fine with the current situation. We've had no outgoings, no incomings, and there's no managerial situation resolved, and we're halfway through the transfer window. I think there are clubs like Liverpool did their deals early, because I think, like I said, they've had stability and they know what they're doing. Transfer deals take months to go through. Negotiations could be started months back. And I reckon Liverpool could have been doing these negotiations throughout February, March, April, and then they've finalised it and they've just done the deal May, June, and then it's done. But I think there are so many players that we could sort out, and hopefully with Sarri arriving later this week, I think when it'll be announced, there could be a lot of movement, and we've got to hope that that's the case. Because if they got him, they're going to be backing him. I don't think he'd come if they weren't backing him. Why aren't you in Russia? I've done 54 games this year, and I'm absolutely shattered. I've done that and a degree, and it's just taken it out of me. So I thought I'd just enjoy the World Cup this year. But I will be doing a little vlog with a few guys for the England-Belgium game, hopefully at my local pub. So if you're from Tunbridge Wells, come and hit me up. Let me know. But yeah, I'm going to be down there. It'll be me, George Keelia. I'm going to try and get Lewis, try and get Jack. I want to speak to Liam. I want to speak to Liam, Mr. Vizzer, if you're about. Go spam his comments section on his video. Say, go see Louis down in Tunbridge Wells for the England-Belgium game. That's what needs to be done. And I'm going to talk to him as well. We love the 30 million bid. It's bread and butter. Yes, you're right. 30 million orders are bread and butter. I put that, but my Twitter's still not up. I think I'm just going to make a new one. Let's be realistic about new team players through EFL Cup and Europa while removing dead weight. Let's concentrate on quality attacking midfielders or clinical striker. Our defence is decent. Is it? It's all right. But there's been a lot of games where we've conceded a lot of goals. Poland are out, get Lewandowski. It's not going to happen. I said it when it was possible, and now it's kind of given up. We have 1,000 centre backs. Why do we need Rugani? It's a very good question. So messy, just a shout. Okay, I know that one's a joke, so I'll leave that. Didn't Man City have a better their training ground facility? Yes, they do. Obviously, this is in regards to Sarri staying at Cobham. Yeah, they do have training ground facilities. So, yeah, I think that yeah, they used it before they went to big home games and stuff. So they'd use that. And I think we've got that as well. If Hudson-Odoi and Ampadu get loaned out next season, is Championship the right, like, too high standard? You mean like the right standard? No. I think Ampadu's played in the Premier League. Shove him in the deep end. That's what I say. You want players to play with no fear. Youth players are the best players because obviously they're very raw and they play with no fear. They really push the boat out and they really do well. And I just think this is why he wants quick players. And you want to build for the future. Hudson-Odoi needs to start next season. That's my opinion. I want to see Hudson-Odoi coming into Chelsea and tearing it up because he has the capability. If Martial's realistic, could have sort of happened if Willian went the other way. Maybe, I guess. I would probably move for that. Kovacic to Chelsea? No. Not a chance. I'd rather not spend that money on Kovacic and just promote some of our youth players. We're repeating the same mistakes as last summer's transfer window. If we could have, we'll settle for Europa again. We had to very slow last year, and I thought the board would learn. I agree with that. How to integrate youth and set up? Completely agree, Ryan. I don't believe any transfer unless I see it on Sky Sports. It depends. It depends. If I get it from someone I trust, then like Simon or someone like that, then I report it. But you know, if it's on Sky Sports, you're a bit too late sometimes. Next year out with Bakayoko, in with Loftus-Cheek. Bakayoko, I think we should loan out. I don't think we should sell him because he's only 23. Literally, we're just covering the same port. Updates on Leon Bailey. We're not going to sign Leon Bailey. It's not happening. There's been nothing reported since like mid-April. Mitchell needs to be starting. I honestly think Batshuayi could work in this setup because obviously a very high press, which means he's not really going to have to move anywhere, and he is a poacher. So, you know, that might suit him. But we'd have to see if that works out well. If not, then potentially we need to consider. I personally, I'd keep Batshuayi. I'd sell Morata and I'd bring in a striker who is known for delivering. I'd like, mate, Higuain's 32. Give him a 2-year contract or something. He's only about 40 million currently. I think there's like a clause in his contract or something. I know that 40 million is what he's valued at by Juventus. I'd spend that money and bring him in. I just let him bang in the goals because him and Sarri work well together at Napoli. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I did just say Higuain. Higuain's possible. He's possible. Fabregas and Drinkwater should be sold. Morata 1 more year. Nope. I'm going to drive him to the airport as soon as we know that he's leaving. Bertrand Traoré hasn't got buyback clause because they're illegal in France. But you know, it'd be a bit annoying. Sell Barkley, buy Wilshere. No, I don't want Jack Wilshere at Chelsea. But yeah, I think we're done. I think I'm seeing. Yeah. Let's leave it there. Listen, guys, if you want to talk to me, make sure you check out my Instagram at Louis Beneventi. Obviously, all socials for the channel are down in the description below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. 63,000 we've just hit, and honestly, it's been absolutely amazing to see the growth of this channel over the past 3 years that I've been here. Obviously, I've been running it now for 2, and we've got it from 18 to 63 in 2 years. So I'm very, very happy and grateful for you lot. So listen, you guys, absolutely amazing. Make sure you keep liking the channel. Make sure you like all the content. I'll be back with a video tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. All social links down in the description. Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. All that good stuff. And yeah, I'm going to see you on Tuesday for another transfer show. Hopefully I'll have a camera then as well, which would be very nice. And yeah, take care, guys. And I'll see you very, very soon. Peace.